Chosen one, why are the people closest to you suddenly acting strange? Why do words that used to flow from your mouth now feel locked behind your teeth? Why does your spirit scream to speak, but something deeper keeps pulling you back into silence? Chosen one, heaven is watching your silence right now, and what you don't say in this season will determine everything that unfolds next. Listen to me carefully. You've been carrying something heavy lately, haven't you? That ache in your chest when you want to defend yourself but can't. That burning in your throat when you want to tell them the truth, but something stops you. That frustration when you're being misunderstood, misrepresented, even accused, and yet your mouth won't open. You think you're losing your voice. But what if God himself placed his hand over your lips? I'm talking to the grandmother in Queens, whose own children stopped calling. I'm talking to the grandfather in Brooklyn, who was betrayed by the business partner he trusted for 30 years. I'm talking to every senior saint across America who's been silenced by family, dismissed by friends, overlooked by the very people they poured their life into. You've been hurt. You've been silenced. You've been made invisible. And somewhere deep in your spirit you're wondering, God, why won't you let me speak? Why won't you let me defend myself? Here's the truth that's going to shake you. There is a reason God shut your mouth in this hour, and if you speak too soon, you could lose the blessing forming behind the scenes. Before we go deeper, I want to pause and thank every single one of you who has supported this message through super thanks. Your generosity means more than you know. You're not just donating. You're helping spread light to others who feel alone in their calling. Whether you give or not, I'm deeply grateful for your presence here. Your support, your time, your attention, it all matters. And if this message resonates with your soul, go ahead and sow that seed of faith. But right now, if your spirit is already stirring, if you've been quiet lately without knowing why, type, I hear you, Lord, in the comments. Picture this. You're standing in a courtroom. The accusations are flying. The lies are piling up. And just when you're about to open your mouth to defend yourself, the judge, the almighty judge, raises his hand and says, not yet. Be still. You've been carrying silence like a burden. But what if heaven was the one telling you to stay still? What if your silence isn't weakness, but warfare? What if God locked your lips because he's preparing to speak on your behalf in ways that will leave your enemies speechless? You are not broken, beloved. You are being positioned. This silence isn't punishment, it's strategy. And what I'm about to reveal in the next few minutes will explain why your greatest weapon right now is your refusal to speak. Have you ever wondered why your voice suddenly stopped mattering to people who used to hang on your every word? Have you asked yourself why the wisdom you carried for 70, 80, 90 years suddenly feels locked inside a vault you can't open? Have you noticed that the more silent you become, the louder your spirit screams? Listen to me, beloved. What's happening to you right now isn't random. It's not aging. It's not irrelevance. It's divine intervention. God doesn't perform surgery while the patient is talking. Think about that for a moment. When a surgeon operates on your heart, what's the first thing they do? They put you under. They stop you from moving, from speaking, from interfering with the precision work that's about to save your life. And right now, chosen one, you are on heaven's operating table. The Almighty himself has placed his hand over your mouth because he's performing surgery on your destiny that requires absolute stillness. You think you've lost your voice. Heaven says you're being prepared for a greater voice. Let me take you to the Gospel of Luke, chapter 1. There was a priest named Zechariah, faithful man, righteous man, serving God his whole life. One day, an angel appears to him with the most extraordinary news. His elderly wife Elizabeth is going to have a baby, and that baby will prepare the way for the Messiah. But Zechariah doubts. He questions. He speaks when he should have simply believed. And you know what the angel Gabriel does. Luke 1:20 says, "And now you will be silent and not able to speak until the day this happens, because you did not believe my words." Zechariah was struck mute. For 9 months, this priest couldn't speak. couldn't preach, couldn't defend himself when people whispered about his silence. But here's what breaks my heart. During those 9 months of silence, God was doing something that Zechariah's words would have interrupted. He was preparing a prophet. He was positioning a miracle. He was orchestrating the birth of John the Baptist, the voice crying in the wilderness. Your silence isn't punishment, beloved. It's protection. Now think about Jesus, the Son of the living God, standing before Pilate. Accusations flying like arrows, lies stacking up like stones, the religious leaders screaming for his blood, and Pilate asks him directly, "Don't you hear all these charges they're bringing against you?" Matthew 27-14 tells us, but Jesus made no reply, not even to a single charge, to the great amazement of the governor. The creator of the universe, the Word made flesh, the one who spoke galaxies into existence, he stood there in silence. Why? Because there are moments when your silence is more powerful than any defense you could offer. There are seasons when God himself tells you, "Don't speak. I'm about to speak for you in ways that will leave them speechless." You've been trying to explain yourself to people who were never meant to understand you. I'm talking to you right now. The grandmother in the Bronx whose own daughter doesn't call anymore. The grandfather in Staten Island who built a business with his bare hands only to watch his children tear it apart after he retired. The widow in Manhattan who gave 50 years to a church that forgot her name the moment her husband died. You've become quieter with age, haven't you? Not because you have nothing to say, but because you've learned that some people don't deserve your words. You've stopped explaining yourself because you've realized that those who are meant to understand you will, and those who aren't, won't, no matter how many words you use. But here's what you didn't know. That silence you've been carrying like a burden, that reluctance to defend yourself, that decision to stop fighting for validation. God has been training you in the ministry of silence. Look at Moses. 40 years in Pharaoh's palace, thinking he was somebody. Then one day he kills an Egyptian, and suddenly he's running for his life into the wilderness. For the next 40 years, Moses is silent, hidden, forgotten, tending sheep in a desert where nobody knows his name, nobody remembers his face, nobody cares about his past. But in that silence, God was doing something. He was stripping Moses of his Egyptian pride. He was breaking down the prince so he could build up the deliverer. He was teaching Moses to hear the voice of heaven in the quiet, because you can't lead a nation out of bondage if you only know how to speak the language of the palace. Exodus 3:1 says, "Now Moses was tending the flock of Jethro his father-in-law, the priest of Midian, and he led the flock to the far side of the wilderness." The far side of the wilderness, that's where you are right now. The far side, the forgotten side, the silent side. But here's the mystery. The far side of the wilderness is where burning bushes appear. The far side is where God reveals himself. The far side is where everything changes. You thought your silence meant defeat. Heaven says it's preparation. Every word you didn't say when they accused you, God recorded it. Every defense you swallowed when they misrepresented you, heaven documented it. Every time you chose silence over retaliation, stillness over vindication, quiet over chaos, you were building up a case in the courts of eternity that's about to be released with interest. But there's something else happening in your silence. There is something God is protecting you from, and I'll reveal it in the next part. Because silence is not the absence of noise, beloved. Silence is the presence of God. And when God is present, everything that needs to fall away will fall away. Everyone who needs to be removed will be removed. Every door that needs to close will close. And every blessing that's been delayed will suddenly accelerate. But here's the question that's going to determine everything. Will you trust the silence, or will you break it too soon and abort what heaven is birthing? Listen to me very carefully, chosen one. There's a war happening right now that you can't see with your natural eyes. It's not being fought with weapons made of steel. It's being fought in the spiritual realm, and the battlefield is your mouth. You want to know why the enemy has been so obsessed with getting you to talk lately? Why every conversation feels like a trap? Why people keep baiting you, provoking you, pushing your buttons, trying to get a reaction. Because the enemy cannot read your mind, only your mouth. Think about that for a moment. Satan doesn't have the ability to see your thoughts. He's not omniscient like God. He can't read what's written in your heart, or see the dreams God whispered to you in the night. But the moment those words leave your lips, he hears everything, and he sends his demons to work against every syllable you speak. Picture a lion crouched in tall grass, motionless, patient, deadly. He's not moving because he's waiting for one thing, the sound of footsteps. The moment his prey makes noise, reveals its location, betrays its presence, that's when he strikes. Your enemy operates the same way. He's been circling your life, waiting, listening, hoping you'll speak too soon so he knows exactly where to attack. Or imagine a fisherman at dawn, line cast into dark water. He can't see the fish. He doesn't know what's happening below the surface. But he's watching that line with laser focus. The second it moves, the second there's tension, the second he feels that tug, he jerks the hook and pulls his catch to the surface. Every time you've spoken prematurely, you've been that fish. You gave the enemy something to grab onto. You gave him ammunition. You gave him intelligence. Here's what breaks my heart about your story. You learned this lesson the hard way, didn't you? Every time you spoke too soon, someone sabotaged it. You shared your dream, and suddenly doors started closing. You mentioned your breakthrough, and problems multiplied. You told your family about the business idea, and they mocked it into the ground. You confided in your best friend about what God was doing, and within a week, the whole church knew your business. And now you're sitting there wondering why people you trusted became informants without even realizing it. Why family members who love you somehow became the ones who misunderstood your obedience to God. Why the moment you opened your mouth, everything started falling apart. Let me tell you what's really been happening. 1 Samuel chapter 18 tells us that when David killed Goliath, King Saul heard about it. The women sang, "Saul has slain his thousands, and David his tens of thousands." And from that day forward, Saul kept a jealous eye on David. The Bible says in verse 9, "And from that time on, Saul kept a close eye on David." Your words gave the enemy a target. Your testimony made you visible to forces that were already threatened by your anointing. This is why Proverbs 29:11 warns us, "Fools give full vent to their rage, but the wise bring calm in the end." And Ecclesiastes 3:7 reminds us there is a time to be silent and a time to speak. Right now, chosen one, this is your time to be silent, not forever, not as punishment, but strategically silent while God works behind the scenes. You think I'm being dramatic? Let me show you what happened to Mary, the mother of Jesus. When the angel Gabriel appeared to her and told her she would conceive the Messiah, Luke 1:29 says she was greatly troubled. But notice what she didn't do. She didn't run through Nazareth shouting, "I'm pregnant with God's baby." She didn't post it on the town square. She didn't even tell her own family right away. Instead, Luke 2:19 tells us, "But Mary treasured up all these things and pondered them in her heart." She kept the prophecy to herself. She protected what God told her. And because of her silence, the enemy couldn't orchestrate a premature attack on the Savior of the world. Not everyone deserves access to the prophecy God whispered to you. Not everyone has earned the right to hear about the promise burning in your chest. Some people in your life right now are like Judas at the Last Supper, sitting at your table, eating your bread, but working for the other side without even knowing it. If you've ever shared something too early and paid the price, say, "Never again" in the comments. But here's what the enemy didn't count on. Here's why your silence right now is driving hell absolutely insane. When you stop talking, demons can't track your movement. When you stop explaining yourself, spiritual adversaries lose their intelligence. When you stop defending, justifying, and announcing, you become invisible to the forces assigned to block you. Your silence is confusing the enemy, and that's exactly what God wants. Think about Jesus during his trial. Matthew 27:12 says, "When he was accused by the chief priests and the elders, he gave no answer. The most powerful man who ever walked the earth stood silent while lies were hurled at him. Pilate was amazed. Matthew 27-14 records. But Jesus made no reply, not even to a single charge, to the great amazement of the governor. Why? Because some battles are won not by speaking, but by refusing to speak. Some victories come not from defending yourself, but from letting God defend you. Right now, there are people watching your life, waiting to see what you'll do next. They're listening for you to crack, to break, to spill everything God's been building in secret. But as long as you stay silent, as long as you keep your mouth shut, as long as you refuse to give the enemy intelligence, you remain untouchable. And while they're waiting for you to speak, God is moving on your behalf in ways that will leave them speechless. But the question burning in your spirit right now is this: if silence is so powerful, why does it feel like I'm dying inside? Why does keeping quiet hurt so much? And how long am I supposed to hold my tongue before I lose my mind? That's exactly what we need to talk about next. You know what breaks my heart? Watching God's chosen ones sabotage their own miracles by opening their mouths 3 months too early. Listen to me carefully, beloved. That burning in your chest right now, that desperate need to explain yourself, to defend your vision, to tell everyone what God showed you last Tuesday at 3 a.m., that urgency you feel. It's not from heaven. It's from hell trying to abort what God is forming in secret. Let me tell you something that's going to shake you to your core. God is protecting a blessing that isn't strong enough yet to survive public exposure. Think about this. You don't bring a newborn baby outside in the middle of a New York winter, do you? You don't throw a premature infant into the February wind and say, well, let's see if it survives. No. You protect what's fragile. You guard what's vulnerable. You shield what's still developing. Your breakthrough is in the womb right now, and you're about to walk it into the storm before it can breathe on its own. I'm talking to the woman in the Bronx who told her sister about the business idea God gave her, and within 2 weeks, her sister launched the same concept and called it her own. I'm talking to the man in Staten Island who shared his prophetic dream with his prayer group, and they laughed, mocked him, called him delusional. I'm talking to every senior saint who's been spiritually sensitive their entire life, who sees things others don't see, who hears things others can't hear, and you've been punished for it. They stole your ideas. They minimized your faith. They weaponized your vulnerability against you. And now God is saying, do not speak, not yet. Not until I finish the process. You see, there's something the enemy understands that you're just beginning to grasp. Premature revelation creates premature resistance. When you announce what God is doing before He's done doing it, you give the forces of darkness time to organize against you. You give jealous people time to sabotage you. You give doubt time to take root in your own mind. Look at Mary, the mother of Jesus. Luke 1:26 tells us the angel Gabriel appeared to her with the most explosive announcement in human history: she would carry the Messiah. But what did Mary do? Verse 29 says she pondered these things in her heart. She didn't run through Nazareth screaming, I'm pregnant with God's son. She held it. She protected it. She treasured it in silence. Because she understood something profound. Sacred things require secrecy until their appointed time. But you've been trained by a culture that says, if you're not posting it, it's not real. If you're not announcing it, it's not valid. If you're not explaining yourself, you must be guilty. So you speak, you defend, you reveal, and with every word, you drain power from the very thing God is trying to birth through you. Let me ask you something that's going to cut deep. How many times have you shared your vision with the wrong person and watched the fire die? How many times have you explained your calling to someone who wasn't called, and suddenly you couldn't hear God's voice as clearly anymore? How many times have you defended yourself to people who never intended to understand you and walked away feeling emptier than before? That wasn't coincidence. That was spiritual robbery. Proverbs 29:11 says, a fool uttereth all his mind, but a wise man keepeth it in till afterwards. Did you catch that? A fool speaks everything immediately, but wisdom waits. Wisdom protects. Wisdom understands timing. Here's the brutal truth you need to hear. Speak prematurely, and you sabotage your own destiny. Reveal too early, and resistance increases exponentially. Explain yourself to the wrong audience, and they'll distort everything you said and use it against you. The enemy doesn't need to stop you if he can get you to stop yourself. Think about Joseph. Genesis 37 records how he shared his dream with his brothers, the dream of them bowing before him. What happened? They threw him in a pit, sold him into slavery, and told their father he was dead. 22 years of suffering because he spoke too soon. But here's what devastates me. Joseph's dream was true. God really was elevating him. The vision was legitimate. But the timing of the revelation nearly cost him everything. Your silence right now is not weakness, chosen one. Your silence is the womb of your breakthrough. And just like a woman carrying a child doesn't parade her pregnancy through dangerous streets in the middle of the night, you don't parade what God is forming in you through enemy territory before it's time. I need you to understand the weight of this moment. What you're carrying right now, that promise God whispered to you, that healing He's working in your body, that financial breakthrough that's taking shape, that family restoration that's coming, it's real. It's legitimate. It's happening, but it's not ready yet. And if you speak it into existence before God releases you to speak, you will give your enemies ammunition they don't deserve and information they'll weaponize. You will create obstacles that were never supposed to exist. You will make your own journey 10 times harder than it needed to be. So what does heaven require of you in this hour? One thing. One simple, excruciating, faith-stretching thing. Be still. Hold your peace. Guard your revelation like a soldier guards a king. Because what's coming is so magnificent, so powerful, so world-shaking, that if people knew about it now, the resistance would be unbearable. But when God Himself unveils it at the appointed time, no weapon formed against it will prosper. Your silence isn't punishment, beloved. It's protection. It's strategy. It's God saying, I trust you to hold this until I'm ready to reveal it. But here's the question that will determine everything. Can you trust Him enough to stay quiet when everything in you wants to scream? You know what nobody tells you about silence? It's not empty. It's not dead. It's not the absence of something. Silence is the womb where miracles are formed. Listen to me, beloved. Right now, while you're sitting there feeling forgotten, feeling invisible, feeling like your voice doesn't matter anymore, God is doing something in you that He could never do while you were talking. Think about it. When have you grown the most? Was it during the seasons when everyone was celebrating you? When your phone was ringing off the hook? When the grandkids were visiting every weekend? No. You grew in the hospital waiting room at 2 a.m. when nobody knew your name. You grew in that kitchen after the funeral when the casseroles stopped coming and the silence became deafening. You grew during those long drives when it was just you, the highway, and God. That's where He meets you. In the quiet. In the stillness. In the places where human voices can't reach. Psalm 46:10 says it plainly. Be still and know that I am God. But here's what most people miss. That word know in Hebrew is yada. It doesn't mean head knowledge, it means intimate knowing. The kind of knowing that happens between lovers. The kind of knowing that requires you to stop talking and start listening. You've been talking to God your whole life, haven't you? 70 years of prayers, 80 years of asking, 90 years of begging. But when was the last time you let Him talk without interrupting? This season of silence isn't because God stopped listening. It's because He finally has your attention. You see, dear one, God doesn't speak when you're ready. He speaks when the moment is ready. And right now, the moment is being prepared. The stage is being set. The players are being positioned. And you're being strengthened in places no human eye can see. He's rebuilding your trust in the dark. He's restoring your hope in the waiting room. He's renewing your strength in the silence that feels like death, but is actually gestation. Do you remember Mary when the angel appeared to her? She was young, alone, probably afraid. And after Gabriel delivered the most earth-shattering news in human history, "You will conceive and give birth to a son," what did Mary do? Did she run out and tell everyone? Did she post it on the ancient equivalent of Facebook? No. Luke 2:19 tells us she treasured all these things and pondered them in her heart. She held her silence. She protected her promise. She understood something that you're learning right now. Some words are too sacred to be spoken before their time. But here's where it gets powerful. Here's where your pain transforms into purpose. While you've been silent, while you've been still, while you felt like nothing was happening, God has been working miracles in your spirit that will manifest in your circumstances. That strength you're feeling, that's not you getting tougher. That's divine reinforcement being installed in your soul. That peace that makes no sense given your situation, that's not denial. That's the presence of God settling into your spirit like fog settling into a valley. That knowing that everything's going to be all right, even though nothing looks all right. That's not wishful thinking. That's prophetic confirmation. You are being healed where no one can touch. You are being strengthened where no one can see. You are being prepared for a promotion that will shock everyone who counted you out. Think about Joseph. 13 years of silence. 13 years in slavery and prison. No social media updates. No encouraging phone calls. No church family checking in on him. Just silence. Just waiting. Just trusting. But what was God doing during those 13 years? He was turning a spoiled boy into a seasoned leader. He was transforming a dreamer into a deliverer. He was preparing a prisoner to become prime minister. Your silence isn't wasted time. It's investment time. Every night you've spent on your knees when words wouldn't come, that was God downloading strategy into your spirit. Every moment you've bitten your tongue when you wanted to defend yourself, that was God teaching you the power of restraint. Every time you felt invisible, that was God hiding you from enemies who would have destroyed you if they'd known what He was building inside you. But I need you to understand something that will change everything. Your silence is not empty. Your stillness is not barren. Your waiting is not passive. Your silence is pregnant. You are carrying something right now that the world cannot see. There's a promise gestating in your spirit. There's a breakthrough being formed in your quiet moments. There's a testimony being written in your tears that will one day become someone else's roadmap out of hell. But just like any pregnancy, if you push too soon, if you speak too early, if you try to birth this thing before its time, you could damage what God is forming. You could lose what heaven is delivering. So what do you do with this silence? You guard it, you honor it, you trust it. Because the same God who shut the lions' mouths for Daniel is the same God who has shut your mouth for this season. And when He opens it again, and He will open it again, your words won't just be heard. They'll carry the weight of heaven itself. But the question burning in your heart right now is this: how long? How long must I stay silent? How long must I remain still? And that answer, beloved, is what I'm about to reveal to you next. You know what's happening to you right now, don't you? That strange peace that doesn't make sense. That supernatural calm in the middle of chaos. That ability to sleep at night even though everything around you is falling apart. That's not you being numb. That's God holding you in His hand while He prepares to move on your behalf. Listen to me carefully, beloved. There will be a day soon when the silence breaks not by your voice, but by God's action. You've been waiting for your moment to speak. You've been rehearsing what you'll say when they finally listen. You've been planning how you'll defend yourself, how you'll explain, how you'll make them understand. But what if I told you that when God moves, you won't need to say a single word? Think about Joseph. 13 years he sat in silence. 13 years of being falsely accused, forgotten, overlooked. His brothers sold him. Potiphar's wife lied about him. The cupbearer forgot him. For 13 years, Joseph had every right to scream his innocence, to demand justice, to fight for his reputation, but he stayed silent. And then, one morning, everything changed. Pharaoh had a dream. The cupbearer suddenly remembered. And within 24 hours, Joseph went from prisoner to prime minister. Genesis 41:14 tells us, Then Pharaoh sent and called Joseph, and they brought him hastily out of the dungeon. Hastily. Suddenly. Unexpectedly. He didn't have to beg for release. He didn't have to plead his case. He didn't have to defend his character. God defended him. God elevated him. God vindicated him so powerfully that even his enemies had to bow. That's what's about to happen to you. Right now, while you're sitting in your silence, God is arranging divine appointments you know nothing about. He's positioning people you've never met. He's opening doors you didn't even know existed. He's preparing a vindication so complete that when it comes, everyone who doubted you will have no choice but to acknowledge that God was with you all along. You want to know how you'll recognize it? Let me paint you a picture. That phone call you stopped expecting, it's coming. That adult child who hasn't spoken to you in 3 years, they're about to reach out. That financial breakthrough you gave up on, heaven just signed the check. That health report that terrified you, God just rewrote the results. I'm not speaking wishful thinking, chosen one. I'm speaking prophetic truth over your life right now. You see, when God breaks silence, He doesn't just speak, He roars. Isaiah 42:14 declares, For a long time I have kept silent, I have been quiet and held myself back. But now, like a woman in childbirth, I cry out. Did you catch that? God Himself knows what it's like to hold back, to wait, to keep silent, even when everything in Him wants to speak. But when He finally moves, it's not a whisper, it's a cry, it's a roar. It's a divine eruption that changes everything in an instant. This is why you felt that strange stirring lately, that sense that something's about to shift, that knowing in your spirit that your season is changing. You're not imagining it, you're discerning it. The grandmother in Philadelphia who's been praying for her grandson for 17 years, he's about to call. The widower in Chicago who's been believing for provision, the check is already in the mail. The woman in Los Angeles who's been standing for her marriage. Reconciliation is closer than she thinks. How do I know? Because I've seen this pattern play out thousands of times. I've watched God honor the silence of His faithful ones. I've witnessed breakthrough come to those who refused to speak too soon. I've seen vindication fall on people who trusted God's timing over their own desperation to be heard. But here's what you need to understand. This revelation, this breakthrough, this divine intervention, it only comes to those who've learned to wait in silence without becoming bitter. To those who've been misunderstood without retaliating. To those who've been accused without defending themselves. Your silence has been your test, and you're passing it. Psalm 37:6 promises, He will make your righteous reward shine like the dawn, your vindication like the noonday sun, not the midnight sun, not the evening sun, the noonday sun, the brightest, most undeniable light of the day. When God vindicates you, everyone will see it. No one will be able to deny it. No one will be able to explain it away. You won't have to defend yourself. God will defend you. You won't have to prove your innocence. God will prove it. You won't have to fight for your reputation. God will restore it with such power that your enemies will become your witnesses. Right now, while I'm speaking these words over your life, something is shifting in the spiritual realm. Can you feel it? That pressure in your chest isn't anxiety, that's anticipation. That restlessness in your spirit isn't doubt. That's divine timing aligning with earthly circumstances. The silence you've been carrying like a burden is about to become your badge of honor. The season you thought was God forgetting you was actually God preparing you. The waiting you believed was punishment was actually positioning for unprecedented favor. If you feel this breakthrough forming already, if something in your spirit is confirming that your season of silence is ending, if you sense that God is about to move in ways you can't even imagine, type "I receive it" in the comments right now. Because, beloved, heaven breaks silence louder than any words you could ever speak. But when the silence breaks, when God finally moves, when your vindication comes, what will you do with the voice he returns to you? You know what's breaking my heart right now? It's the number of you sitting there thinking your silence meant nothing. You think because you didn't fight back, you lost. You think because you didn't defend yourself, they won. You think because you kept your mouth shut during the worst betrayal of your life, you're weak. But what if I told you that your silence wasn't surrender? What if I told you it was the most powerful weapon heaven has been sharpening in secret? Listen to me carefully, chosen one. While you've been sitting in that silence, feeling forgotten, feeling invisible, feeling like your voice doesn't matter anymore, God has been writing a story in the heavenlies that's about to explode into your reality. Diamonds are formed in silence, deep beneath the earth, under crushing pressure. In absolute darkness, that's where the most valuable stones in the world are created, not in the spotlight, not in the noise. In the quiet, hidden places where no one can see, oak trees grow quietly. For years, decades even, an oak tree sends its roots deep into the soil. You don't hear it. You don't see the struggle. But when the storm comes, when other trees are ripped from the ground, that oak stands. Why? Because what it built in silence became its strength in the storm. Miracles begin in stillness. Mary received the announcement of Jesus in a quiet room. Moses heard God's voice in the silence of the wilderness. Elijah found God not in the earthquake or the fire, but in the still, small voice. Your silence wasn't emptiness, it was incubation. But here's what's about to happen, and you need to brace yourself for this. Every single moment you chose not to speak when you had every right to, every time you swallowed your words when they were attacking you, every night you cried into your pillow instead of posting on Facebook, God was recording it. 1 Samuel 2-9 says, "He will guard the feet of his faithful servants, but the wicked will be silenced in the place of darkness." Did you catch that? The wicked will be silenced. Not you. Them. You think your silence meant they got away with it? You think because you didn't expose them, they won? No, beloved. You didn't stay silent because you're weak. You stayed silent because God told you, "Step back, I've got this one." And when God fights your battles, He doesn't just win. He makes sure everyone knows who won it for you. Here's what your obedience in silence has been building. First, elevation. While you've been quiet, God has been positioning you. Promotion doesn't come from defending yourself, it comes from trusting God to defend you. Joseph didn't talk his way out of prison. God elevated him straight from the dungeon to the palace. One day a prisoner, the next day Prime Minister of Egypt. That's what happens when you let God do the speaking. Second, revelation. In the silence, you've heard things others couldn't hear. You've seen things others couldn't see. While everyone else was busy talking, you were listening. And what you heard in that secret place is about to become your greatest weapon. Psalm 46:10 says, "Be still and know that I am God." The revelation doesn't come in the noise, it comes in the stillness. Third, protection. You have no idea what God saved you from by keeping you quiet. That argument you didn't have, it would have destroyed a relationship you'll need next year. That defense you didn't make, it would have positioned you as the problem when God was setting you up to be the solution. That truth you didn't speak, it would have closed a door God wants to open for you supernaturally. Your silence protected you from sabotaging your own miracle. And fourth, divine justice. Here's where it gets powerful. Deuteronomy 32:35 declares, "It is mine to avenge, I will repay. Not it might be mine, not I'll think about it." God says, vengeance belongs to Him. Every lie they told about you, recorded. Every time they took credit for your work, documented. Every moment they dismissed you, overlooked you, treated you like you were invisible, God saw it all. And He's about to speak so loudly on your behalf that they'll wish you had been the one talking. You want to know what's about to be released through your quiet obedience. Vindication you didn't have to orchestrate. Promotion you didn't have to campaign for. Restoration you didn't have to beg for. Justice you didn't have to fight for. I'm talking to the grandmother whose daughter-in-law poisoned her grandchildren against her. You stayed quiet. You didn't fight back. You just kept praying. Heaven recorded every silent tear, and the truth is about to come to light in ways that will shock everyone. I'm talking to the grandfather who was pushed out of the family business by his own son. You didn't sue. You didn't retaliate. You forgave silently, and God is about to open doors for you that will make that business look like pocket change. I'm talking to every senior saint who suffered betrayal, injustice, and abandonment without complaining, without gossiping, without revenge. You thought your silence meant weakness. God calls it wisdom. The silence was never the end. It was the preparation for the reveal. You see, when you speak for yourself, you get human results. But when you stay silent and let God speak for you, you get supernatural results. You get vindication that comes with no debt attached. You get promotion that comes with divine favor. You get restoration that brings glory to God's name, not yours. Your silence is about to speak for you. And when it does, it won't whisper. It will thunder. But the question that will determine everything is this. Now that you know what your silence has been building, will you trust it just a little bit longer? Let me tell you something that's going to change how you see your silence forever. Right now, while you're sitting there feeling powerless because you can't speak, feeling frustrated because no one's listening, feeling invisible because your voice seems to have disappeared, there's an entire realm you cannot see that has erupted into motion. Heaven assigns angels to silence, not to your words. Think about that. When you were running your mouth, defending yourself, explaining yourself, justifying yourself to people who had already made up their minds about you. Where was the breakthrough? When you were arguing with your son-in-law about how he treats your daughter, did it change anything? When you were trying to convince your children that you're not the problem, did they suddenly understand? No, because human words fight human battles. But divine silence? Divine silence fights in realms your enemies can't even access. Listen to what happened to Moses at the Red Sea. 2 million Israelites trapped between the Egyptian army and certain death. They're screaming, they're panicking, they're blaming Moses for bringing them out here to die. And Moses? He opens his mouth to defend himself, to explain the plan, to calm them down. But God interrupts him. Exodus 14:14 records the Lord saying, "The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. Be still. Stop talking. Stop explaining. Stop defending." And what happened next? The sea split. Not because Moses gave a great speech, not because the people finally understood, but because silence invited the supernatural. You see, beloved, there's a spiritual mechanic operating in your life right now that most preachers won't tell you about. Angels move when they sense obedience. And your silence right now, that's the loudest obedience heaven has heard from you in years. Every time you bite your tongue when you want to lash out, an angel moves. Every time you hold your peace when someone's lying about you, an angel moves. Every time you stay quiet when God says, "Not yet," heaven mobilizes on your behalf. You want to know why you've felt this strange restraint lately? Why words die in your throat? Why even when you try to speak, it comes out wrong or doesn't come out at all? Because God has stationed an angel at your mouth, not to punish you, to protect what He's preparing. James 1:19 tells us, "Everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry." But do you know why? Because the moment you speak in your anger, in your hurt, in your need to be right, you cancel the angelic assignment that was already in motion. Think about it like this. A gardener doesn't speak to the seed, he watches it. He doesn't dig it up every day to check if it's growing. He doesn't yell at the soil to hurry up. He plants it, covers it, waters it, and then he's silent. He waits. He trusts the process he cannot see. Your blessing is underground right now. Your vindication is germinating. Your breakthrough is in the soil of silence. And if you dig it up by speaking too soon, you'll kill what God planted in your season of waiting. I'm talking to the woman in the Bronx who hasn't spoken to her sister in 2 years because of what was said at Thanksgiving. I'm talking to the man in Staten Island whose son hasn't called since the argument about the inheritance. I'm talking to every senior saint who's been cut off, cut out, and cut down by the very people they sacrificed everything for. You've wanted to pick up that phone. You've drafted that text message 100 times. You've rehearsed what you're going to say when you finally see them again. But something keeps stopping you. That something is someone. Let me ask you this. How many times in your 70, 80, 90 years on this earth did doors open with no explanation? How many times did protection come out of nowhere? How many times were you spared from something you didn't even know was coming for you? That wasn't luck. That wasn't coincidence. That was angelic intervention activated by your silence, your trust, your willingness to let God be God. Your silence is a signal in the unseen realm, a signal that tells heaven, they trust me. And when heaven sees that signal, when the Almighty looks down and sees you holding your tongue when you have every right to speak, biting back words when you've been wronged, staying quiet when you've been accused, He doesn't see weakness. He sees warfare. He sees a warrior who's learned that the most powerful position is surrender. Psalm 46:10 commands, "Be still and know that I am God." Not be busy, not be loud, not be right. Be still, because in your stillness, God establishes His movement. In your silence, heaven releases its sound. But here's what you need to understand. This isn't forever. This is for now. God isn't asking you to never speak again. He's asking you to not speak yet. There's a massive difference between a muted voice and a muzzled spirit. You're not being silenced by fear. You're being silenced by faith. And when God finally releases your mouth, when He removes His hand from your lips, when He gives you permission to speak again, your words won't just be heard. They'll be obeyed. When you stop speaking, heaven starts moving. But the question burning in your spirit right now is this: how long? How long do I stay silent? How long do I let them think they won? How long do I watch lies go unchallenged? And the answer to that question will determine whether you step into your greatest victory or sabotage the very blessing God's been building while you've been still. You think nothing is happening. Oh, but everything is happening. Right now, while you sit there feeling powerless, while you wrestle with the urge to speak, to defend yourself, to set the record straight, heaven is moving on your behalf in ways you cannot see. Your silence isn't emptiness, beloved. Your silence is warfare. Listen to me carefully. Every word you didn't say became a sword in the hand of God. Every defense you swallowed became a shield around your future. Every time you bit your tongue when they accused you, lied about you, betrayed you, you were actually allowing the Almighty to step into the courtroom on your behalf. You've been fighting alone for so long, haven't you? Decades of carrying burdens no one else could see. Years of being misunderstood by your own children. Months of watching people you trusted turn their backs on you. And through it all, you wanted to scream. You wanted to explain. You wanted to make them understand. But God said, "Be still and know that I am God." Psalm 46:10. Be still. Not be weak, not be defeated. Be still. Because while you were silent, the enemy lost his access to you. You see, the devil needs your voice to build his case against you. He needs your words to twist, your reactions to manipulate, your anger to weaponize. But when you refuse to speak, when you choose silence over self-defense, you pull the ammunition right out of his hands. Think about this. How many times in the last 6 months did someone try to provoke you? How many times did they bait you, push you, try to drag you into their drama, and you felt that fire rising in your chest, that urge to unleash everything you've been holding back? But someone held your tongue. That wasn't weakness, that was divine strategy. Job understood this. When his wife told him to curse God and die, when his friends spent chapters accusing him of hidden sin, when his entire world collapsed around him, Job 2:10 records his response. Shall we accept good from God and not trouble? He didn't defend himself to his accusers. He didn't waste his words on people who couldn't understand. He saved his voice for the one who mattered. And when Job finally spoke to God, not to his critics, but to his Creator, everything shifted. Job 42:10 tells us, "After Job had prayed for his friends, the Lord restored his fortunes and gave him twice as much as he had before." Twice as much. Not because he argued louder, because he stayed silent longer. You've been watching your enemies celebrate, haven't you? You've seen them prosper while you struggled. You've watched them get promoted while you got pushed aside. You've witnessed them living their best life while you've been living in this season of silence and suffering. But here's what you don't see. Their plans are collapsing behind the scenes. Their schemes are unraveling in the spiritual realm. Every trap they set for you is catching them instead. Because Proverbs 26:27 declares, "Whoever digs a pit will fall into it. If someone rolls a stone, it will roll back on them." Your silence activated that scripture. I'm talking to the grandmother whose daughter-in-law turned the grandchildren against her. I'm talking to the man whose business partner stole everything and walked away laughing. I'm talking to every senior saint who's been silenced, sidelined, and left to wonder if justice will ever come. It's coming. But not through your voice, through his. Remember the storm that almost killed everyone on Jonah's ship? Jonah 1:15 tells us, "Then they took Jonah and threw him overboard, and the raging sea grew calm." The moment Jonah stopped resisting God's plan, stopped running from the assignment, stopped trying to control the narrative, the storm stopped. Not because he fought harder, because he surrendered deeper. Your silence is your surrender, and your surrender is about to become your victory. Think about David and Goliath. For 40 days, that giant mocked God's army. 40 days of insults, threats, and intimidation. But David didn't waste time arguing with Goliath. He didn't try to reason with him or defend God's reputation with words. 1 Samuel 17:49 says, "Reaching into his bag and taking out a stone, he slung it and struck the Philistine on the forehead." Action, not argument. Obedience, not explanation. The battle your silence is winning is bigger than the blessing you're praying for. Because God isn't just defending your name, He's establishing your legacy. He's not just restoring what you lost, He's preparing double for your trouble. He's not just answering your prayers, He's setting up a testimony that will echo through generations. Sometimes the loudest victory is fought quietly. But what happens when God decides it's finally time for you to speak? You've spent nights alone, haven't you? Holidays alone, birthdays that nobody remembered, moments you never talked about because who would understand? You sit in that chair by the window, watching the world rush by, and you wonder if anyone even notices you're still here. That empty seat at the dinner table, that phone that doesn't ring anymore, that silence in your apartment that's so thick you can hear your own heartbeat echoing off the walls. Let me tell you something that's going to shift everything you thought you knew about this season. Loneliness is not a punishment. It is God pulling you away from noise so He can remake you again. Listen to what happened to Elijah in 1 Kings chapter 19. This mighty prophet who had just called down fire from heaven, who had defeated 450 prophets of Baal, who had seen miracles that shook nations, suddenly found himself alone in a cave, depressed, isolated, ready to die. He cried out, "I have been very zealous for the Lord. I am the only one left." But God didn't rebuke him for his loneliness. God met him there, in the cave, in the isolation. And it was there, in that stripped-down moment, that God revealed Himself, not in the earthquake, not in the fire, not in the wind, but in a gentle whisper. Your loneliness has been your cave, the place where everything loud had to fall away so you could finally hear the whisper you've been missing your whole life. Think about a lighthouse standing alone on a rocky shore. It doesn't stand with other buildings. It doesn't blend into a crowded skyline. It stands alone, precisely because that's where it's needed most. In the darkest hour, in the fiercest storm, that solitary light becomes the difference between life and death, for ships lost at sea. You think you're forgotten, but God positioned you alone so your light wouldn't be diluted by the crowd. Or picture a violin string. When it's slack, it makes no sound. But pull it tight, stretch it, isolate it from the others, and suddenly it produces the note that makes grown men weep. Your loneliness has been the tension required to produce the sound heaven needed from you. Consider the winter tree stripped bare in Central Park, every leaf gone, every branch exposed, standing naked against the frozen sky. The world looks at it and sees death, but beneath that bark, in the invisible realm, sap is flowing. Roots are deepening. Strength is building for the spring that's coming. Your silence became the space where God rewrote parts of your heart you thought were too damaged to heal. Those nights you cried alone, God was collecting every tear in his bottle. Psalm 56 verse 8 says, "You keep track of all my sorrows. You have collected all my tears in your bottle. Not one moment of your pain was wasted. Every tear was a seed being planted for a harvest you can't see yet." Those conversations you had with yourself at 3 a.m, those weren't signs of losing your mind. Those were dialogues with the divine. God was dismantling the false versions of you that other people created so the real you could finally emerge. That isolation that felt like exile, it was actually extraction. God was pulling you out of toxic systems, draining relationships, soul-crushing environments that were slowly killing you while you smiled and pretended everything was fine. Jesus himself spent 40 days